Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I picked up this pair of Afco racing shocks for the back of the Monza. They're only a single adjustable style. The owner of the car upgraded to a double adjustable style. So I picked these up pretty cheap. Now they came off the rear of a second gen F-body Camaro, but I can make them work for a Monza. If you can recall from one of my previous videos, I talked about how I got this rear subframe section out of a Pro Street car. The upper shock mounts are essentially designed for a competition engineering 3-way adjustable shock with a coil spring around it. That worked great in a Pro Street application, but it will not work for what I need it to do. Okay, now that I've gotten my old mounts cut out, it's time to make a jig for my new mounts and get them welded in. My new upper mounts are nothing more than these little tabs that they sell. I found a piece of thin wall tubing that fits inside the 1/2-inch hole for these tabs, so I'm going to make a neat little jig to hold these in place while I weld them. After cutting my jig tube to length, I marked where my inner tabs had to be and threw some masking tape on there. I slid the inner tabs on, then I found a piece of this random chrome tubing laying in the garage, and I cut that as a spacer to go between the inner and the outer tabs. I measured the rear axle to make sure that the upper tabs would match the lower tabs. That's when I found out the lower mounts are welded incorrectly on the differential. We're going to try to put these shocks on and see how far off it really is, but I may need to cut these lower mounts off the differential and weld some ones on correctly. So this is what the shocks look like mocked up inside the car. We're going to ignore the fact that I forgot to order the bushings that go inside the upper and lower eyelets of the shock. I have 1/2-inch mounting holes for these, and these are 5/8-inch holes in the shock. I'll get those ordered tomorrow. After I got everything installed and mocked up, I did measure the lower mounting points to see how far they were off. The right side is 1/4 inch back further than the left side. I think I might be able to finagle these lower mounts a little bit to make up for it, but I am going to have to cut these mounts off the rear differential and weld them on correctly. These rear shocks came with a 14-inch long spring with a 150-pound spring rate. Now QA1 recommends anything from a 1,250-pound to a 1,500-pound rear end in a car have a 150-pound spring rate at a 14-inch spring. I'd like to get the rear of the car, or the whole car, quite a bit lighter than that, so I may have to try a 125-pound spring in this car. We'll wait and see after the car is assembled and get it scaled how much this thing really weighs. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.